The relationship between Nigeria and the Netherlands has taken a significant stride forward as the Dutch government has announced plans to invest an additional $250 million into the West African nation in the coming months. This latest investment disclosed during a meeting with Nigerian President Bola Tinubu and Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte, underscores the growth in confidence of Dutch investors in Nigeria's economic potential under the new administration. The president, who is still on a three-day visit, reiterated Nigeria's openness to business, emphasizing the country's commitment to fostering a conducive climate for investors. What are the opportunities for both countries? And of course, looking at other economic issues shaping the Nigerian economy at this time, a partner, senior economist at SPM Professionals, Mr. Paul Alaje, joins me live from our Abuja studios to continue this conversation. Mr. Alaje, good afternoon, and it's really good to see you.
Good afternoon, and thank you so very much for having me.
Yes, another good statement or good outing from the meeting in the Netherlands. You know what happened in India, a lot of promise of investment. Saudi Arabia, the same thing. And also when the president visited Nairobi, that was the same thing. Nigeria is open for business. That is what the president keeps telling them. And they keep commending him with regards to reforms and bold steps taken by this administration. But my question to you really will be, are we going to get the expected investment, FPIs, FDIs, following all of these reforms by President Bola Tinubu?
Well, I strongly believe that Nigeria will attract investment. How soon is a different conversation entirely. What I know is that it's important for us to attract more of that foreign direct investment in real sector than to attract the same in the portfolio investment. But what seems to be easy is to attract those investments in portfolio from portfolio investors who, at the slightest glitch in the system, they will cut away with their money and leave back to their respective country of origin or any other interest. What we have seen in the last 1 year is the administration have been going from one country to another, talking to investment clusters from Qatar to the United Arab Emirates to India to Germany and now to the recent country where the president have gone, and we have received another promise from such country. Now, investors will do their primary assignment. The primary assignment will be to actually send researchers to Nigeria beyond what they have read on Bloomberg, what they have watched on TVC, and what they have read in other newspapers as to what is investment environment like. This may take some time, maybe 6 months, maybe 1 year, or the time that investors want to come. Our job is, yes, we are telling people, we are re-emphasizing on their minds that they can come to Nigeria, and we are receiving the initial thumbs up regarding the investor coming to our country. When they come, what kind of atmosphere are we going to build? What kind of requirement will they need in terms of energy, in terms of road, in terms of work, in terms of licensing, in terms of having CFO for their land, and so on and so forth? Would we have been able to remove those bottlenecks? And this is why it's important. When we talk about plan, it's important that state governments are fully informed, especially that the administration reiterate the importance of this attraction of investment at the, what do we call it now, at the National Economic Council, so that state governors who will be the direct beneficiary of all of these will become aware that when investments come to Nigeria, and indeed even local investment, the environment is relatively receptive to this new investment in different areas from agriculture to energy to petrochemical and so on and so forth. When we do this, it will go beyond the word, Mr. President, who of course is the chief, the CEO, the chief executive officer of the country, saying that come and invest in this Nigeria conglomerate. We are going to see it expand, and we'll be sure we'll not toy with your investment.
Mr. Alaje, let's take a break and reconnect and continue our conversation. We'll be right back.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
All right, thank you for staying with us. I still have Mr. Paul Alaje live from our Abuja studios. Mr. Alaje, policy issues are very important in attracting investment, and that is something that you agree with me. What sort of conversation do you expect from, of course, Nigeria and international partners at this time to be able to actualize these figures? We keep hearing millions of dollars being expected, but what trade policies do we need to put in place to make this happen?
Well, we need to put important policy around our macroeconomic environment, which includes the kind of inflation, especially when we are looking at real investment, what is happening to our FX, foreign exchange. Most importantly, we also need to put some transformational challenges and check them, which includes the issue around insecurity in Nigeria and infrastructure. Government will need to look at some of this policy in the light of the Nigeria economic plan. Again, it depends on what we want to do exactly with the Netherlands or any other country of interest. Policy that may be serving as bottleneck or barrier to investment in Nigeria are the things we need to address. But generally speaking, when countries are looking at or investors are looking at which country to invest in, they will check the macroeconomic environment and they will use different parameters such as what is happening to unemployment, what kind of skilled labor available in that country, what kind of policies government making around employment, how are investors protected in terms of labor relationship, that is employee-employer relationship. They also want to look at what is happening to inflation. Is government combating inflation? What is inducing inflation? Is inflation a demand pull or cost push? They want to look at that area more. They also want to look at what is happening to foreign exchange. If they bring X amount into Nigeria today, in the next 5-10 years, if they are to take their money back, even if they have made 25-30% profit on that money, taking it back into Nigeria, how easy will it be for them to repatriate their fund, or one, and two, what will be the quality of money they are getting in the country? Then the third one is perhaps what is happening, the trade policy of Nigeria. How easy is commodity able to flow out of Nigeria in case they want to produce in Nigeria and sell to the rest of Africa or the rest of the world? Or how easy is it for even raw material to get into Nigeria? It's important for this macroeconomic environment. Apart from that, we have some key institutional concerns that they may see, and most importantly, issue around infrastructure, power, energy, and road. We have seen in recent time increase in the amount of tariff of energy, but have we been able to, can we combine that with improvement in available power supply, not just for domestic use, but for industrial use? For me, it is important for us to attract not just portfolio investment, but we also attract what we call investment in the real sector, because this is what can really heal our country of current economic concerns.
Interesting stuff. Now, we see fuel shortages around the country. This is a time where Dangote refinery is already on stream, though not producing PMS at the moment. we have DPK, we have aviation fuel and diesel. And we expect production of PMS, I think, anytime from June. We also expect Port Harcourt refinery to come on stream. According to the NNPC, the lines are working. They're just waiting for some certification before they get it activated. What do you think is happening with regards to this shortage? I hear Abuja is even worse. Lagos, yes, a pocket of queues around. What's your reaction to this? Is there like a shortfall in imports? Or what do you think will be responsible for this?
Well, I think people managing our supply side, they have a lot of work to do. I think President Tinubu or the Minister of Petroleum, we need to do a lot of work regarding the supply side. We all should have an idea, now that subsidy is partially or almost removed, we should have an idea as to our consumption per day, per week, and per month. So if you are tank farms, where we store PMS among other products, we should know what exactly Nigeria will consume. Again, we should also understand the sensitivity of this shortage. When vehicles, articulated vehicles or trucks that are moving them from one state to another, when we started seeing, by the time we start noticing shortage, we should understand what that sensitivity will mean. We should understand that may make even independent marketer or major marketer to hike their prices. When this happens, how will it paint the government? Good, bad, or as ugly? Another thing is, when we notice that this is the volume that we need, can we even increase it? If there are tank farms that are not having sufficient product, we don't need to wait till the dying minute before we start wrapping around increasing supply or circulation. I've seen the publication by NNPC, or what NNPC have sent online on Twitter, regarding the fact that we have sufficient power supply. To me, that statement sounded like we have enough power we are generating by the GenCos, about 10,000 megawatts. The question is, what is distributed at home? What is distributed for people to consume? That is exactly what we have. If people get to a filling station or gas station and they have sufficiency, the queue will fizzle out. Our real challenge is in the area of supply. I have heard Dangote refinery come up from 2017 to 2024. It is still coming up. When exactly is it going to come up? And Dangote refinery, even being private sector refinery, we understand. Even at the launch, commissioning of that refinery last year, we can leave that alone. We can excuse it because it's private. Port Harcourt refinery has been resuscitated over and over and over again. And at 8 different times, we heard that it's coming mainstream. For this last time, can it just come, even if it cannot meet all our needs, can it solve part of this problem so that it will boost supply? Our real problem in Nigeria regarding this queue is the supply. There is always a potent demand side, but what happens to supply? If we don't wrap up with these supply right now, black market will be created. As a matter of fact, in Abuja here, black market has been created. We have started seeing some young men who should be busy on farms and factories carrying 10 liters, 5 liters of jerrycans, selling to those who their fuel might have been exhausted or is about to be exhausted. On the road, selling it as high as 900, as high as 1,000 naira. Meanwhile, that is not the intention of government when subsidy was removed. So as much as we have good intention, we should also be sure that we wrap up with the supply side and ensure that at all time we are able to bring supply to the market. People can only make choice whether they want to buy or not.
Interesting stuff. Also, our FX market, which many have, of course, a lot of work is being done by the central bank, pay off debts, of course, clear debts and all of that, and the supply of FX to the BDC, Bureau de Change operators. We saw a respite almost 1,000 naira, 1,100. But as at now, as my last check, is about 1,400. What do you think is happening again in that space?
Demand pressure all over again. We've been here before. We have seen quality effort by Central Bank of Nigeria, and I mean to underline the word quality. Quality effort by Central Bank of Nigeria. Some of the things that have been done are conventional, some are not conventional. But what is important to us as a lover, as a die-hard fan of this country, is that we have seen dollar came down from 1,900, 1,980 naira. It reduced. For the first time in a long time in our history, it reduced to 1,000 naira. And many are hopeful that it will eventually get to 700, 800. But unfortunately, it climbed again by 450 naira at the parallel market, and no market was exempted as it climbed at different markets. Also, so what do I think? First, what did we do that brought us that low? Can we repeat it again? Is it the intervention that we have at the BDC that brought us? Is it the fixing of rates at the custom that brought us? Is it because of unconventional decisions and steps that we took? Hello?
Yes, give me a minute. We need to take a break right now. We are going to connect with to our live coverage here in Rivers State, where there's the official commissioning of the Nelson Wike ultra-modern international market and park in Omagua. That's Ikwere local government area. We'll be getting live pictures from there now as we'll be continuing with Business Nigeria on other platforms. Stay with TVC News.
Stay ahead with the biggest news stories. Go beyond the news headlines. Experience impact.
Laje is still with me. Mr. Paul Laje, you were making a point before I interjected. Please go ahead and wrap up that point.
Yes, I mentioned the frantic effort by the central bank that brought out the exchange rate from 1,980 to around 1,000 naira. And I said that effort must be commended. And I am aware that central bank have used both conventional and non-conventional methods to achieve that feat. We have relatively moderated or adjusted demand, but we have also tried to stimulate some part of supply. All of this working together ensure that we have an improved exchange rate. And everybody can testify. You see, economists have told us and have told government that whatever exchange rate is, leave it. Let Naira discover themselves. They are people that want Nigeria to go on a news. It is important to have improved exchange rate, quality exchange rate for better life and for quality life for our people. Now, my question is, what did central bank do before? Can we repeat it again? If it works for us once, can we try it to work for us again? It's important for us to do it too. I knew that whatever we are doing, because we have not done so much on supply side, it may not be as long as we want it to be. Therefore, while central bank is putting all of those efforts together, we need trade authority, we need fiscal authority to wrap up their part, because in real sense, central bank will never be able to print the dollar. If it does, it will be illegal. So fiscal and trade authority must do everything possible to wrap up their part by stimulating exports and significantly replacing imports. When we do this, of course, in the medium term, we can start seeing this difference, we can start seeing these changes, and we can start seeing this improvement on our local exchange rate, the Naira.
A lot of work here to be done, and I'm looking forward with all of this. Do you see, so let's wrap up on that note, inflation dropping, considering what is happening with regards to price of diesel, and some are saying that we still expect the FX market to stabilize. If this happens, do you think that inflation could drop further? It's still on the high side, but do you think we could see a reduction moving forward?
Well, inflation may grow at a very slow rate. When you look at two things, of all the prices in the system, very few prices have moderated. All other prices remain still very, very high. Unfortunately, the current poor performance of Naira has also not been very helpful, where some marketers are thinking of reducing their price. With this new energy in Naira by almost 15% loss in one day, and also another 7%, then 8%, this may stimulate inflation to grow higher. But I'm not envisaging a major leap in inflation. Perhaps it may be flat or it may marginally increase in the coming days.
Well, it's a good way to leave it. Partner, senior economist, SPM professionals, Mr. Paul Alaje, thank you for your time.
Thank you so very much for having me.